everyone, me again. I know that I've been buying quite a lot of makeup recently, so I thought today it would be really nice just to throw all of it on my face. Today I'm going to be doing a almost full face of first impressions. So some things it is like the first time I've put it on and it is my complete first impression. Some things I haven't had for that long, but I still have like a little idea of what I think about them. But basically it's a load of new or new-ish products that I'm putting on my face. You know the drill. The look has turned out very, very colourful, which I'm quite excited about. I don't normally do stuff like this, but this is just what I was in the mood for today. I really wanted to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone a bit and just do something really colourful, really fun, and really creative. So this is kind of what's happened. Anyway, that's a long enough introduction. Let's get straight to the makeup. So I want to do my eyeshadow before I do my foundation and anything else on my face because I'm going to be using quite a colourful eyeshadow palette today. I'm going to be trying out Karud's new eyeshadow palette with Makeup Revolution. This is his Make Magic palette. You can see it's a lot more colourful than the kind of thing I normally pick. I'm very much a cool toned, neutral, pink and gold bronze kind of person. Strangely enough, I saw this and I knew that I really wanted to buy it. There's something about it that really inspires me, that really makes me want to go out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to be trying this out, and I'm also going to be using, I know I'm a bit late to this, but I'm going to be trying out the P. Louise eyeshadow base. I picked up the shade Rumour 0.5. I don't actually know how much you're supposed to put on. And then I'm just going to blend it in with the sponge. The shade is pretty good. It's very, very brightening. Are you supposed to use your sponge for this, or are you supposed to use your brush? I don't know. I feel like the sponge has kind of absorbed it a bit, so I'm just going to try it with a concealer brush as well. I'm just using a Real Techniques concealer brush. So when you use a brush, it does look like you get a lot more coverage, but it's also a little bit more streaky, just because the product is so tacky. So I think the best thing to do is to initially apply it with the brush, but then just kind of go over the streaky areas with a sponge. That seems to look really good. Now I'm really drawn to the kind of free blue shimmery shades at the end here. I feel like I want to put that just all over my lid. So I think for the crease action I'm going to use some of the more cooler tone matte colours. I really want to start with the violet shade here called Bless. Look how bright and intense this shade is. I mean, I'm obviously not an expert when it comes to eyeshadow, but I feel like pastel shades must be really, really difficult to make and to make them well, especially for a £10 palette. This one is showing up really, really beautifully. Next, I'm taking this dual-ended brush, which I think came with a Revolution eyeshadow palette a million years ago. And I'm just going to take the rosy matte shade called Free Hugs, and I'm just going to start placing that towards the end. And it doesn't matter if I don't get the shape quite right because we're doing this before foundation. So with the P. Louise base and with the palette being so colourful, I start out just by kind of stamping the colour on, and then I just fuse it out once it's applied. I really like the way these colours have kind of blended together. Yeah, I'm really surprised at how well this is going, considering that I'm just not very good at like really colourful eyeshadow. I've probably jinxed it now. And next I'm going to deepen it up a little bit with this plum matte colour here called You Do You. I'm applying it and tapping off the excess on a Real Techniques smudge brush. I'm just gently placing that just on the outer V, and then I'll blend it out in a minute. I'm just kind of fusing it out with the same brush. I've noticed in some of my previous videos that I do have this really bad habit of just over blending, and so whenever I do like little details like this, it does tend to get lost because I just kind of keep blending and blending and blending and blending, and then it just kind of all blurs into one. Whereas today I'm going to try really hard not to blend too much so that we keep the violet at the beginning and then the kind of smokier purple at the end. Did I ever tell you about the time that I met Karud anyway? Yeah, it was at that Revolution Halloween party that I went to last year, and he was absolutely lovely. Like, I'm not saying he's not, you know, ridiculously beautiful in his videos or anything, because he obviously is, but like when I saw him in real life, like I couldn't stop telling him how beautiful he was for like 10 minutes because he was absolutely stunning. Like, he didn't have any pores, his skin was just completely smooth, and I was just kind of staring at him for most of the night going like, oh my god, how are you real? I'm just taking a little bit more of the Free Hugs shade that we used before. That was the second colour we used, and I'm just going back over the plummy colour just to bring everything together. And I've still got a bit of the P. Louise base left on the back of my hand, so I'm going to use that for my cut crease. I just have a generic concealer brush here. I'm trying to do that thing that Missa does on Make Me Up Missa, where she kind of draws in her cut crease a little bit higher than her natural hood. But now that I look at it, my eyes are so hooded that you can't even see that I've done it. So this is the shade I want to use. It's the blue called Under My Spell. It looks so, so beautiful when you swatch it. Look at that. One swipe. It feels almost like a cream eyeshadow, like it's got something to it that just makes it kind of glide on really, really effortlessly. So obviously it swatches really beautifully, but I'd like it to be quite a precise application, so I'm going to try putting it on with this Real Techniques brush. I think this is called their detail brush or detailer brush. I've had my Real Techniques brushes for so long that most of the names have rubbed off now, so I never really know what they're called. So I'm just going to try putting this on. Okay, so it's not quite as impressive with the brush as it is with a finger. So I think on the other eye, I'm just going to use my finger and then tidy it up with the detailer brush afterwards. See? Yeah, straight away that looks so much prettier. You can see it just really loses the sparkle when you use a brush. So far, my eyeshadow looks absolutely insane, but I feel like when I do my eyeliner and maybe put some eyelashes on, I just think it's all going to kind of come together. Well, I hope it does anyway. Considering I've done such a colourful look, I'm really not seeing like that much fallout on my face. But yeah, I'm just going to quickly chuck some eyeliner on. I haven't really got a new eyeliner that's going to go with this look. So I'm just going to put on a little bit of the e.l.f. creamy eyeliner in black. And I think with this kind of look, I'm probably going to need some false eyelashes just to kind of really bring everything together. So I'm going to do that too. Okay, I'm back and the eyes are pretty much done now. I thought that because I'm wearing false eyelashes, I might as well just stick to my regular mascara, which is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. The eyelashes, by the way, are from eBay. I get the same ones pretty much every time. They're the only ones that kind of suit my small hooded eyes. I'll leave them in the description box below. So somehow between finishing all of that and going downstairs to get another cup of tea, my face has just gone completely red. I don't really know what's happened, but that's fine because we're going to put some foundation on anyway. I'm going to start with this primer from W7. If you've been around my channel for a little while, you know that I've been really loving the Revolution Baking Oil recently. And then I saw this primer in TK Maxx. This one looks quite interesting because it's this sort of like pink colour, but I'm assuming that once it's actually like on the skin, that colour won't be as visible. Ooh, this is nice. It feels very, very cooling on the skin, which is good because my face is feeling very, very flushed after going back downstairs. It smells absolutely divine. It smells like grapefruit. It's not as thick as the Revolution Baking Oil. Some people might like that. I kind of feel like my skin isn't quite as hydrated as it would be if I was using the Revolution Baking Oil, which is a shame because the foundation I wanted to try out is actually quite matte. So I think I'm just going to put on a little dab more in the areas where I get really dry. So my dry areas are my forehead and just underneath my eyes right here, and then this bit, the centre of my face. Okay, I think that's the best we can do. And then my colour corrector and foundation are actually from W7 as well. So if you've seen my Cheshire Oaks haul, you might remember I picked up their colour corrector and I also picked up their Face Fantasy Matte Finish Foundation in Buff. Loads of you were really, really interested in this foundation, so I thought I'd try it out today and just do like a kind of first impressions on it. And if I like it, I'll do a dedicated review on my blog. And if I don't like it, then you'll never hear me talking about it again. First, I'm just going to take a little bit of this green colour corrector. I have actually tried this a couple of times since I bought it, and I don't think it's quite as effective as my giant palettes. So I have some bigger palettes from NYX and Revolution that have got like more colours in. And I don't know if it's just my imagination, but I think they're a little bit more pigmented than this. But this one's okay, I guess. Especially if you're travelling, it's obviously a lot easier to carry around because it's so small. And now I'm going to go in with the foundation. So obviously it says it's matte on the bottle. When I've swatched it as well, it does feel a bit creamier to start with, then I do think it dries a little bit satin. It also feels quite thick and quite pigmented. So I'm just going to put that on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to go in with the same sponge that I used to put on my P. Louise base earlier. So this sponge is from Shop Miss A. I really love their makeup sponges, and they're so cheap. I think this was like $1.50 or something, but it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, I'm going to use the sponge because this is a matte foundation and my skin is dry anyway, and it feels a little bit more dry than usual today, so I just think the sponge will be a bit more forgiving. Anyway, let's give this a try. Okay, it's quite pigmented. Yep, there's a fair bit of coverage in that. It looks like it's too pale for me, but that's just because I've got so much skin redness, so just try and imagine that I'm matching my neck. Plus it will probably oxidize in a little bit anyway because it's a matte foundation. Matte foundations do just tend to go a little bit darker as they set. So you can see just from this section here where I've put the foundation on, just one layer has really brightened up my skin. It's made my face match my neck a little better. And the redness isn't completely gone, not with one layer and a sponge anyway, but it is more even. So I'm just going to carry on and put this all over my face. The coverage on this is so good. I cannot get over how good the coverage is. Like, this is a really cheap foundation as well. I paid about £5 for this in the beauty outlet store, but you can get this on Fragrance Direct for even less than that, maybe about £2 or £3. And look how much it is just smoothing over my redness. It's just really toning everything down, and it doesn't feel like too cakey or anything on the skin, even though it's a matte finish. I mean, we'll see how it is once it's kind of set a bit more, but yeah, for the time being, I really like it. I'm just going to build it up a little bit more where I need it. I am really liking this foundation. I am so pleasantly surprised. I'm not normally a big fan of matte foundations, but this one is just forgiving enough that I found it quite easy to blend into the skin. I found it very buildable, especially with the damp makeup sponge as well. The coverage is really nice. It's nice to have a foundation that matches my neck so well. It is starting to set a little bit, and I can see it going a little bit drier on some areas of my face, like the usual areas where my face gets quite dry, like right in the middle. I do think I look a little bit pale though, so I'm going to go in with my contour and bronzer. I've got some cream contour and bronzing products, so I'm going to put them on before my concealer, and then if I go really overboard I can just kind of use the concealer to tone it down a bit. That's what I usually do anyway. So these are again things that I got in my Cheshire Oaks haul quite recently. I'm going to start off with the L'Oreal Couche de Soleil. You can still get this, it's available on Amazon. I haven't seen it for a while, but you can get it on Amazon. And then I don't really use the cushion that comes with it, I just used a sponge. I know this isn't technically a first impression because I've used the cream contour and the cream bronzer as well, but I don't really buy a lot of like contour and bronzer and sculpting products. So I'm just putting this on the outer perimeters of the face. This is a different sponge, by the way, it's not the one that I was using for the foundation. I really like how buildable this bronzer is, so you can get like a really sheer wash if you want to, or you can build it up a little bit more. I think if you use a damp sponge it's very forgiving. It's really nice if you've got a couple of like pale foundations that you want to wear over the summer. This is really good just to kind of warm them up a little bit. So yeah, I just start on the outer perimeters of my face. Sometimes I go down the nose and down the centre as well, just depending on the kind of look I want. I'm going to go in with the NYX Wonder Stick now. I have actually used this a couple of times, so again, this isn't really new. And this one is really nice, so I did want to show it on camera as well. It's just so creamy, it's really easy to blend. It's a really nice colour as well. So I don't know if the foundation is oxidizing or if I've just put quite a bit of that cream bronzer on, but either way I feel like my face is kind of warmed up a little bit now. It is getting a little bit dry. The more and more this foundation sets, the drier my skin looks. For filming that could actually be quite a good thing. I just wouldn't necessarily choose this as an everyday foundation for me. So I'm going to chuck some concealer on now, and in my last haul I picked up some more of the Conceal and Define concealers. So I picked up the white one for mixing with other concealers. This is a repurchase. I also got the new shades C0.2 and C0.7. So just for comparison, this is my older shade, which is C1. So you can see that's pretty much the perfect match for my skin tone. It can sometimes oxidize a little bit darker if I use too much of it. And then this is C0.7, which when I bought this, it didn't look that much lighter, but we'll see. Yeah, so To me, these shades look almost the same, it's just the undertone that's a little bit different. Like C0.7 is just a little bit kind of warmer, maybe a bit peachier. It's maybe like a fraction lighter. Maybe as they kind of dry down a bit more, it will be a bit more obvious. This is C0.2, which is very, very yellow, but you can see that it is quite a bit brighter. Oh, did I just smudge that? So this shade I could actually wear underneath my eyes. This is the white shade. In terms of like the undertone though, I feel like it's still better to just mix a little bit of the white foundation with the C1 shade. So this is C1 mixed with the white one. And you can see the undertone is just completely different. Maybe I mixed a bit too much of the white one in there, but you get the general idea. So I'm not too sure at the moment, but I think I'm going to start with a little bit of C0.7. And I'm just going to put this just underneath the darker parts underneath my eyes. I don't usually wear this particular concealer underneath my eyes, it's a little bit too dry for me, but this is just so I can actually see what the shade looks like. I'm just going to take a bit of my C1 shade and use that over my blemishes. And then I'm just going to get C0.2 and just put that anywhere where I want to brighten up my face, like down the centre, near my eyes, that kind of thing. I'm really liking this combination of the W7 foundation and the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. Obviously on me, on my dry skin, it does look a little bit kind of cakey in some areas, and it is kind of gathering on the fine lines underneath my eyes as well. I think if you've got more like normal to oily skin, this could potentially be something you could wear on an everyday basis if you've got a lot that you want to cover up. I have just realised that I didn't actually pick up a new setting powder. I do have this one from Revolution. This is like the most recent powder I bought. It's their powder foundation. I feel like I don't really need that because it does have quite a bit of extra coverage to it. I think what I'm going to do instead is just go in with my regular boring MUA powder here. Now where did I put my brush? I'll just use this brush. This is again another like generic one I got on eBay ages ago. I'll try and link it below if I can find it. I do think the foundation has definitely oxidized, but I actually kind of like that because when I match my neck on camera it does tend to look a little bit ghostly. I do look quite washed out when I do that. So yeah, I'm just using a little bit of this powder just to take down the shine. Just to keep everything in place because it is quite warm in this room even though this is a fairly matte combination. Like I don't think it would stand a chance in this room at this time of the year if I didn't set my face a bit. I do want to use a powder contour as well because I just love sculpting my face, especially when I'm on camera because my lights do wash me out a bit. Like I said before, I don't tend to pick up a lot of brand new contour products. There just aren't that many that suit me. The most recent powder contour I picked up, apart from the one that I'll be doing in my AliExpress video, is this one from Maybelline. And I'll be honest, it's been so long since I've used this that this basically is a first impression. I think I only used this like a couple of times when I first bought it. I just don't feel like this is the best contour powder I've ever tried personally. It is a little bit warm. It's not too bad, I can make it work. I also find this quite difficult to blend as well. You can see I'm kind of patting it on my face, but then it just doesn't want to kind of blend into the skin, and that's even when I've like powdered every single area of my face. So yeah, this isn't like my favourite contour in the world, but I don't think I've talked about it on camera since I've picked this up, so this is definitely a good chance for me to just kind of tell you how I'm feeling about it. If I haven't said, by the way, this is a Real Techniques contour brush. Absolutely love this for putting on contour with. And then for blush, I feel like I really have to use this palette. Like, look at it, it's massive. I got this on sale in my last haul video. This was £10.50 instead of £15. You've got 15 shades in here. Now I bought it because there are some really beautiful kind of pink tones in here. I'm not going to wear pink today. I just feel like I'd rather just keep all the colour on my eyes and let everything else be quite neutral. So I think I'm going to go for the shade Sweet, which is that one. I would describe this as like a warm rose gold kind of colour. Very pretty. I've got an e.l.f. small tapered brush and I'm just going to use that to apply it. Okay, it's very pigmented. I know it looks really harsh when I turn my head like that, but from the front, it looks okay. And I'm just going to tap over that with the sponge that I used to put on my foundation earlier. That'll just tone it down a bit. Looking very flushed at the moment. Now there are some shades that I could use as a highlighter in here, but there's nothing that's really like jumping out at me. But yeah, I think the highlighter I want to use is this one. This is also from Revolution. This is called The Girl's Best Friend, and it looks like this. It is the most blinding highlighter you have ever seen. I mean, look at that. I'm going to take this shade here, and this is an e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. This brush is really good if you want to kind of like a dramatic amount of highlighter like that. Wow, okay. I don't usually wear my highlighter like this. I usually go for something that's a little bit more subtle, but I'm just not in the mood for that today. I'm getting some just kind of above and below my eyebrow as well, and down my nose. I think that highlighter is my favourite thing in the whole video. Can you see it? It's so pretty. I'm also just going to put a little bit in my inner corner as well, because I don't think there is like a really dramatic, like bright inner corner shade in the Karud palette. I mean, there's the bright yellow, but I can never pull off bright yellow in my inner corner. I don't know about you guys. When I do it, it always makes me look like I have some kind of disease. So next, I think I'm going to do my eyebrows. So the only new-ish product I have is this one from Ardell, and I actually got this for free when I ordered something from Fragrance Direct a while ago, and I've never opened it, so we're going to see what it's like today. It's a brow pomade. It's in the shade Blonde, and it did come with a little brush as well, which is quite nice. So it's got the kind of angled brush on one end and then the spoolie on the other. Just an update on my brows, by the way. I did a video where I tried tinting them for the first time. Absolutely life-changing. Highly recommended if you're as pale as I am, or if you've got really blonde hair on your eyebrows. Since filming that video, I've also had my eyebrows done professionally at the Benefit counter in the Debenhams in Manchester. I went with my friend Natasha, who goes there all the time. They are so lovely there, and they also waxed them. I'm going to probably get that done again quite soon. I think I had that done at, I want to say, the middle or the end of April. So yeah, I really want to go and get them waxed again and just get the shape back a little bit. For tinting, I've been doing that myself with the same Eyeliner kit. So I tint my eyebrows probably every 2 weeks. Sounds like a lot, but again, my eyebrows are just so naturally blonde that you can start to see them kind of losing their colour very quickly. And because they're kind of growing out blonde and invisible, it just looks like they're, you know, going a bit more sparse. So the pomade feels a little bit stiff. I don't know if that's just, you know, the product, or if it's because I've had it sat in a drawer for a million years. The colour's quite nice. I think if you have maybe light blonde hair, you might find this shade a bit too warm, but on me it works really well. But yeah, it's okay. I think I prefer my Revolution brow pomade, but it's still nice. I feel like the brush might be a little bit flimsy, so I'm going to try going in with this one from Primark. This is just their standard £1 dual-ended eyebrow brush. Okay, I do like this brush better, but the product is still like quite stiff, so I'm finding it really difficult to kind of draw like the fine hairs, you know, and get really detailed, which I quite like to do personally. I'm just going to use my go-to brow product, which is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Taupe, and I'm just going to try and tidy this up a little bit, maybe get some finer hairs in there. I'm just going to set them in place with my Collection Colour Lash Clear Mascara. This isn't brand sparkling new either. I've actually been using this for a while, but I don't really get like new brow setting mascaras that often. Not until it starts to look really gross. Okay, now we're going back to the Karud eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to finish off this look. And I'm going to start off with a Real Techniques shading brush. I'm just going to go in with the shade Bliss that we were using earlier. And I'm just going to run that underneath my eyes. I'm just going to start by pressing it, as that really gets the colour to pop. And by taking the colour like quite far down, I can kind of cover up all the creasing from the Revolution concealer, which is an added bonus. And I'm just trying to bring out that colour so that it meets with the rest of the eyeshadow. Listen to me sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I'm just making this up as I go along, and so far it looks okay. And then I'm just going to use that same brush and use a little bit of the shade Free Hugs, and then just go on the outer part here just like this little line, just there to kind of connect the shades from the top half of the eye and the bottom lash. If you wanted to look like very colourful, you could put like a completely different colour on the lower lash line. Maybe like the teal colour or a green or even a coral or something, whatever you wanted. I kind of want all the attention to be on the blue that's on the cut crease, so that's why I'm just using the same matte shades as before. But yeah, you can do whatever you want, you know, it's makeup, it washes off at the end of the day. And then I'm going to chuck on some of the AOA Skinny Mascara on my lower lashes, which again isn't a brand new product, but it's the only lower lash mascara I actually like. And I'm also using the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in the shade Rosy and Goldie on my waterline. This pencil does feel a little bit kind of scratchy in my waterline. It's not the most comfortable one that I've ever tried. So I just need to do my lips now to finish off the look. And you might remember that the lipstick I picked up in my previous haul was this one from Maybelline. I think it might be a little bit too pink for this particular look. I do have a nude-ish one from Essence. This is their Instacare lipstick in the shade, what are you? In the shade 02 Daily Maybe. And you can see this one. It's quite a nice 90s brown colour, but it's just a little bit too dark for what I have in mind. So I think I need like an actual nude to go with this look. So instead I'm going to reach for something that I actually got a couple of hauls ago, and it's the Revolution Pro Illustrator Crayon in Unprecedented. So you might remember I got this a couple of haul videos ago, and then in my last haul video I got this in a load of other colours because I just basically love the concept. This is a kind of chubby stick thing that you can use on your eyes, on your cheeks, and also on your lips. So I haven't actually tried this on my lips yet because I thought that the shade might be a little bit like too pale for me, but actually it looks like it could be okay. It's just not the formula that I normally go for on my lips. I usually prefer something a bit smoother, a bit creamier, whereas this is like a full-on opaque matte situation. So I really like the colour. I feel like that goes with the look really nicely. It's the exact kind of nude shade that I was after, but it does feel incredibly drying on the lips. It was a bit more firm than I was expecting, that's what she said. But yeah, on the lips it just feels like a little bit too matte for me personally, but I can still see myself maybe reaching for this one. I want a really strong kind of lip look. I think right now I'm just going to go over it with a tiny little bit of the Essence lipstick just to kind of soften it up a bit to make it feel a little bit more comfortable on the lips. So this is the finished look, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I was really in the mood to do something colourful and creative today, and I think I got it. So I think my favourite products were probably a little bit obvious during the video, but I'll go over them again anyway. So obviously I really love this Karmy MUA palette. I think he did an incredible job. I love the top row. I love the selection of colours. I think it's colourful, but it's still got some of like those familiar neutrals to me, like the kind of matte pinky corally colours. So yeah, I'm really excited to play with this a bit more and just keep using it. Absolutely obsessed with this highlighter from I Heart Revolution. This is so intense. I absolutely love it. The L'Oreal Cushion de Soleil is bloody lovely. And of course another shout out to my NYX Wonder Stick, the little cream contour stick thing. Ooh, and of course the blush palette of dreams. And yeah, I could probably use this with pretty much every single look that I want to create. I think I'll have to try out the foundation a couple more times before I can give you my final thoughts. I do feel like it's kind of worn in a little bit since I finished off my makeup. I feel like it's kind of settling into some lines on my face, but that's kind of normal for me and high coverage matte foundations, especially because I am in my late 20s, so yeah, I can't really complain too much. I think for the price, if you're looking for a foundation with a decent amount of coverage and you normally use me as like a shade reference, then I think you're going to really like this. I think that's everything from me today. I've rambled on enough at this point, and I cannot wait to take off these false eyelashes because they're already doing my head in. But thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy full face of first impression type videos, or just anything where I'm putting a full face of makeup on and talking to you in general. If you're new around here, please validate my existence by subscribing to my YouTube channel. I post new videos mostly every Sunday at 9 AM. That's everything from me today. I will see you guys next week. Bye!